I had just finished my first year of law school. One of my peers and I started hanging out and we started dating. It just became more and more clear that we really wanted to focus on law school. So we kind of decided to go our separate ways. I was on vacation with a friend. I had this thought of like, what if I'm pregnant? I have been told since I was 16 that being pregnant is impossible for me. It would be a total miracle. On top of that, I have a weird internal bleeding disorder. The doctors had said if I was to become pregnant, it could be terminal for me. We got home from that trip. I ran to the gas station, got a pregnancy test. Well, this will just make me feel better. This will just kind of eliminate it. It's not going to be positive, And it was positive. And I was in complete shock. It completely took my breath away. I'm working, I'm supporting myself, and was just starting a great job with an attorney that I was so lucky to get. I had gotten on law review. I was involved in some clubs at the school. So I had all these professional, epic moments happening. And here I found out that I'm pregnant.
One of the things about Abby is from the moment that she found out she was pregnant, while she was certainly surprised and facing, this unexpected pregnancy, she had immediate joy. And I think that's because Abby wasn't going to feel pressured by society not to love this baby and to love this child.
I had people that are very close to me that are pro-life flip and tell me that I should have an abortion, really pushed me to have an abortion, didn't respect my thoughts and wishes on the matter.
You can really understand why a woman might panic or feel concerned or not know what her future's going to look like, especially when she has it all mapped out. And what Abby was going through, it's also what you hear sometimes the pro-choice sites say. You're going to ruin your life if you have this baby. How are you going to graduate from law school? You can't be pregnant and give birth and raise a baby. Like, this is going to ruin your life.
I started just responding to people with this, do you feel like you're empowering me with what you just said? Because I don't feel empowered.
She doesn't pretend that it's a perfect little fantasy, but what she did is she embraced the pregnancy. She embraced being a mother, and she embraced her dream of becoming a lawyer.
So I went to the interim dean at the time of the law school and just shared with her, hey, I'm having a baby and I need help figuring this out.
I really think that law school has to be a little more flexible. Law school traditionally has been very rigid. Their curriculum has been very set, and the processes that they have in place for students don't allow a lot of flexibility. And I think that's one of the reasons why law schools don't have a huge diverse student body. I think it's really important for law schools to be a little more flexible and to meet students where they are.
And she immediately celebrated my pregnancy, immediately embraced my journey. She sat down and we made a plan.
I was incredibly impressed with Abby. From the very beginning, I think, but even before she entered motherhood, right, she was just always very focused on her goals. And I think she took that into facing that question of motherhood and how do I deal with this? How do I balance it? And through that whole time, she's always remained very optimistic. It hasn't always been easy, definitely hasn't always been easy for her, but she really trusted herself. And she also was willing to trust in us and to work with us very closely as she kind of continued that path.
The spring semester before I had him, I ended up just doing experiential learning. So I worked in the housing clinic at Concordia. I got to practice law, serving people that were facing evictions and housing issues. Because of my health issues, we ended up having a planned C-section a little bit early. No one tells you when you have a baby that when you leave that hospital, you're a completely different person. The things that you were concerned about and cared about before are nothing. So I was able to have my baby at home with me, do the housing clinic and helping people that are facing eviction still. And then I was also able to take a couple classes. So I just kind of kept powering through. Since his father and I were both in law school, we decided to stagger our graduation so that we were taking the bar exam at different times. So I became head parent during that period. And then when I took the bar later, he kind of became head parent. So we just kind of shuffled back and forth, which was really great. The professors were incredibly understanding. One of my professors is a judge, and I let him know, hey, I don't have childcare for the first half of class. And he was like, no, bring your baby. I want to see your baby.
I have distinct memories of him sitting sort of down in the front room of 114 as there's panels going on and presentations, and just, again, it humanizes the experience for everyone involved. What is the bigger picture? What are our goals as humans and as lawyers? And it's to care for clients. It's to build a better world. And he was just an immediate physical reminder of that.
There were so many times I had him at the school with me. I was able to use one of the study rooms that had a door on it. And I just kind of set up camp in there with him. So especially on dinner hour, he'd be in there with me and I'd be reading my books to him. And his first book ever was the autobiography of Sandra Day O'Connor. His second book ever was the Constitution. I just thought, you know what? I'm embracing you, you're gonna embrace me. And we're gonna do this thing together. Just to kind of combine my two loves, my love for the law and my love for my son, and just kind of share that with him.
Everyone comes to the table with different challenges, but to be able to look at Abby and see the things that she's able to do in light of a huge challenge in order to balance that and to be successful in her legal degree, I think is a real testament to her as an individual, but also just a great inspiration for all of our students.
There's so much pressure on women to fit a mold and to fit a standard that is fairly impossible to reach. If you go the route of having an abortion, it's so applauded because of the things you can do as a woman, because you don't have this burden anymore. You don't have this, weight holding you back. You're not an inconvenience to society all of a sudden. Whereas when you embrace being a mother, it's not really applauded. It's applauded in certain circles and in certain groups, but as a whole of society, you're immediately viewed as an inconvenience and someone that has to be accommodated. I know so many moms that are professionals, single, married, divorced, the variety. And those women are the most incredible human beings because they are doing it all.
I've begun to see more and more, at least employers speaking that they want people and individuals of vast life experiences. They want people who have families, who aren't the, spend 80 hours a week in the office sort of people who have lives outside of work, and for people to bring those experiences with them into the workplace environment, because there's an immense value that happens amongst colleagues when there is that support, when there is that collegiality and those relationships. It makes for a more effective employee, and it makes for a more effective representative of clients.
The one thing I think that was so fascinating with Abby is her ability to empathize with our clients. I think she'll bring that to the table of any practice that she will have, is the ability to connect and empathize. And, just to see her grow and develop in that way, and to see her as a true colleague in that dynamic has really been a fantastic opportunity for me.
The goal is to become the best attorney that I could become. And I ended up passing the bar on the first time around, which was incredible experience. The day that I was sworn in at the Idaho Supreme Court was so humbling. Taking that oath as an attorney and looking at my journey with my son and knowing that he is getting to be raised in a world where anything is possible.
We can't just say, hey, keep your baby, hope it all works out. We got to give them tangible support and resources and quality care. And so that's what we've done, and that's what we've built. But it goes even beyond that. Women need support from their families, support from the father of the baby, support from their job, support with their schooling. I mean, the list goes on and on, that there truly needs to be a community of support so that women can feel that they can fully embrace the unexpected pregnancy and the life of their child, and also achieve their dreams and goals and visions. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And I often say, well, if men can have a great job and a career and embrace their children and families, women should be able to do the same thing.
How on earth could I be a mom and achieve these amazing goals at the same time? And it's because I was empowered. It's because I had people that supported me. It's just so wild because motherhood is incredibly empowering. It just baffled me that people thought the only way I could be empowered was to choose to have an abortion.